portion, which would be being seen as part of savings from the transitions that we make in the electric and all the different components. So for the refunding bond ordinance, the totality of the expense has to be included and not just the township's portion. Since we initially introduced this, there was a discovery that there is some asbestos in one of the stacks in the JFK Center that needs to be remediated. Although it was not our initial intent to do anything with those stacks and boilers, the installer insisted that the asbestos be remediated before he goes and does any further work. So I am just waiting for his proposal to find out exactly what that additional amount is going to be.
Let the record reflect that it appears that we're back on the Zoom now, so you can hear us. Great.
Oh, good.
Okay, so ordinance number 2023-16 is an ordinance amending or modifying the standards for the Divine Nine Park donation program that was set up by the council a few months ago. There was only one item that I asked be stricken from this particular ordinance, and it is the reference of the $725 installation cost. That specific dollar amount be removed and it just read installation cost because it was $725 at this time, but depending on when the others go in, it may increase by then. Ordinance number 23-17. This ordinance was actually an ordinance to amend a previous ordinance where there was an incorrect amount written into the ordinance. This ordinance 27, number 17, number 18, number 19 are all part of the permanent financing that we are going out to. I believe that we discussed at our last meeting. And our bond counsel wanted some technical difficulties, I guess you would describe them as, to be corrected. And recommended that we just go ahead and reintroduce and just do these ordinances from the top to the bottom. Specifically with this one, we had the original ordinance and the amendment, and they preferred to have them unified as just one complete ordinance instead of the two pieces. And I believe there were some other advertising issues with the other elements. So those what those particular ordinances are related to. For the resolutions, resolution 191 is a resolution authorizing a grant agreement between Willingboro Township and the state of New Jersey, Department of Environmental Protection. We had applied for a grant to install some electric vehicle chargers at Mill Creek Park. And we were recipients of that grant in the amount of $24,000. And this is just authorization to accept the grant and that we will agree to adhere to the standards of the grant agreement. Resolution number 2023-192 is a resolution to adopt and allocate funds for the outdoor fitness court as part of the 2023 National Fitness Campaign. I have made a presentation to the governing body regarding the NFC. By approving this resolution, we will be awarded a $30,000 grant from the NFC for an outside fitness court. But they're asking that not only do we receive that grant, that we make a commitment to put whatever funding is required in the 2024 capital budget for the completion of that project, whether it be through our bond ordinances, or if we do any type of fundraising, getting sponsorships for that particular item. So this is just our commitment to do that. Resolution number 2023-193 is a resolution authorizing an increase to the not to exceed amount for Triad Associates for the provision of administrative agent services to the township of Willingboro. Triad Associates is our affordable housing administrator in the township of Willingboro. And at certain periods, they do work for us. We have had a large or an increase in the requested sales of some affordable housing that was built in Willingboro a few years ago. I guess after a certain period of time, or there is a certain period of time where they are bound to live in that property and cannot sell it. So there are a lot of properties that are reaching that threshold. Triad is the agency that processes all of that administrative paperwork and guides them through whatever processes that they need to do to actually sell those homes. In 2023, we have been invoiced $1,800 so far. They have already done an additional $825 in work, and they are anticipating another $1,950 of work to still do in 2023 for this process. So that's why we are asking to increase the not to exceed amount to cover those anticipated expenses. 2023-194 is a resolution authorizing the funding of Township Willingboro share of the MAX contract to include management fees. The MAX contract is a contract that we have joined in with most of the communities in Burlington County. They do the apartment and condo collections. We all share a portion of that contract. And they went and contracted with AVR Resources, Inc. To provide administrative services to the MAX program beginning April in 2023 for a 3-year term. And this is our portion of that contract that we need to cover. Resolution number 2023-195 is a resolution to amend the adopted budget for additional items of revenue and offsetting appropriations, also known as a Chapter 159. At various times throughout the year, we may receive grants, funding from different programs that were not included or we did not have at the original time or at the time of our budget adoption. So for us to include those into the budget so we can begin utilizing them, we do what is called a Chapter 159. This one in particular is the $144,000 from the state of New Jersey, Division of Administrative Department of Law and Public Safety, the American Rescue Plan Act, Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund from 2021, and it covers the grant for the automated license plate readers that we received here in Willingboro. Resolution number 196 is a very similar request to include the amount of $108,316.91 that we received from the National Opioid Settlement Fund so far in 2023. So we can add that into our budget and spend on it. Resolution 197 is a resolution establishing a not to exceed amount for the planning board solicitor Cooper and Levinson. The planning board has the ability to contract its own solicitor and engineer, but the state law requires that the council include the monies in its budget to cover those expenses. So this is just increasing the not to exceed amount by $10,000 to cover the expense for the planning board solicitor. Resolution number 198 is a resolution authorizing the annual contribution of the length of service award program known as LOSAP in the amount of $11,100. This is a contribution that the township makes on behalf of eligible volunteers who are participating in the program as a way of rewarding them for their volunteer service. So that is resolution 198. Resolution 199 is a resolution authorizing the township to enter into a contract with Zone Striping Incorporated That was for the striping of Millennial Drive, Campbell Drive, MLK Boulevard, and JFK Boulevard that we spoke about previously in the amount of $42,007.50. Resolution number 200 is a resolution authorizing the township to enter into a contract with Longo Associates Incorporated. They are members of the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey. This is the company that we are going to be purchasing the seats for the soon to be commenced construction for the Willingboro Performing Arts Center. We're purchasing 512 Irwin seating citation model chairs for the JFK Center. Resolution number 2023, and that in the amount of that contract is $174,684. Resolution number 201 is a resolution authorizing a contract with certain approved state contract vendors for safety surfacing at Broido Park. We were awarded a contract a grant several years ago to do some upgrades at Broido Park. This particular contract is authorizing the vendor General Recreation to come and install poured in play safety surfacing in preparation of installing that playground equipment. These amounts have already been funded in our 2026 capital or 2023 capital budget, and these are not additional appropriations. We're just awarding these contracts. Resolution number 2023-202 is a resolution authorizing the submission of final documents to the County of Burlington to receive final reimbursement of grant funds. We were awarded back in 2016 a Municipal Park Development Program grant submitted to the County of Burlington to refurbish the tennis courts and the pavilion at Mill Creek Park. That work is completed, finished, and done, and we just need to submit the final documents to the county to get reimbursed those funds. Resolution number 2023-203 is another resolution to do a Chapter 159. This amount is for $41,800 received from the DCA in 2021. The legislature enacted Public Law 2021, Chapter 182, requiring inspections at stipulated times to inspect certain single-family, two-family, and multi-family dwelling rentals, units for lead-based paint hazards. We were awarded a grant of $41,800 to fulfill those requirements. And I'm happy to say that we now have how many? 4 inspectors, Mr. Tunstall? How many inspectors received their lead paint inspection certification? Yes. So we now have 4 in-house certified lead paint inspectors who have got their state certifications. Resolution number 204 is a resolution authorizing the overpayment of taxes, which is pretty standard month to month. Resolution number 205 is a resolution to again amend the adopted budget, another Chapter 159. This is a $59,985 grant awarded to the Willingboro Police Department for the Police Youth Initiative Grant Program. Resolution number 206 is a resolution authorizing the payment of vouchers for ratification. And resolution number 207 is a resolution to participate in the state-approved purchasing contract to renew the contracts for the Willingboro Township Police Department Axon Bundle Package. This is the body worn cameras and different paraphernalia that the police department does wear or utilize in the execution of their duties. This is actually a $1.4 million contract, which will be paid over a 10-year period. at the amount of $140,080.75. And this is breaking down the payment schedule and the township's commitment to, again, include those amounts in our capital budget for the execution of this contract. So those are all of the items that I am presenting to you this evening for your consideration.
All right, and I have one more resolution to add to the docket. Resolution 2023-209. This is a resolution approving the township manager's salary adjustment. If many recall, a few months ago, there was a request for the township manager's increase. And at the request of our council member, a couple of council members, that we revisited after we do our evaluation. So that is complete. So now we're putting this on the docket for today. And that is docket resolution 2023-209. All right, we will open up for public comment for agenda items only. That's for any ordinances or resolution. Any concerns or comments about anything that's on this agenda? Public comment for agenda items is now open. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Pat Lindsay, Harvey Headley. I just have one question. Where is the fitness court going to be? That was it.
It is tentatively scheduled to be at the JFK Center. There's a little patch of land between the field and the practice field that we felt would be an ideal spot for it to fit in.
Anybody else?
Pat Lindsay, Harvey.
Yeah.
Address, Hadley Lane.
Anyone else for public comment for agenda items? It's up there. The copy's right there, sir. Anybody online?
Yes, we have Jade Kolb.
Post?
Yes, we have Jade
Yes,
Kolb.
good evening. Good evening, thank you. My
Jade.
name is Jade Kolb, and I live at 15 Ginger Lane. And I'd like to just make a
I
comment
just need to
about the
make sure no
two
one's
dogs
online trying to get on for public comment.
or two animal ordinance. I feel that if you're a responsible pet owner, you're going to be responsible for your pets, whether you have 1, 2, 7, or 10. And I think if you're going to be irresponsible,
All
you're
right,
gonna
well,
be
public comment for
irresponsible.
agenda items is now closed. Madam Clerk?
You doing wise?
Mr. Ordinance.
Tanya.
Hear her asking you if there's anybody.
Yeah, there was. I was trying to get, there's a caller, Jade Kolb.
Ordinance
I'm not sure why it
2023-16,
wasn't going through.
first reading. Ordinance amending.
Can you
ordinance
hear me? I think I'm muted.
2023-4.
What's your telephone? I'm sorry. I didn't hear.
609-864-8467.
Okay, so there is another person, but we can't hear you say anything.
Modifying standards for the Divine Nine Park Bench donation program for the Township of Willenboro. This is the first reading. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call?
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
This is the first reading, ordinance 2023-17, replacing ordinance 2023-10, bond ordinance providing for the roadway project in and by the Township of Willenboro in the County of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating not to exceed $3,750,000, therefore bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-18, replacing ordinance 2022-11, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvement in and by the Township of Willenboro in the county of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating $1,778,210 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-19 replaces ordinance 2023-11. Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvement in and by the township of Willenboro in the county of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating $3 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,850,000 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
One
I'm sorry.
Are they both replacing 2023-11?
One is replacing 2023-11 and the other one replacing 2022-11.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to make does any council members have any resolutions that they'd like to pull out for further discussion? Okay, I make a motion for consent agenda, resolution 2023-191 through 203.
Second. Oh,
I'm
you
sorry,
got-
sorry, I didn't see the last page. Resolution 2023-204 through 207 and resolution 2023-209.
Second.
Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda of resolution 2023-191 through 2023-207 and resolution 2023-209.
So moved.
Second.
I moved.
The mayor
Seconded.
moved it.
Yeah, I moved it.
You moved second.
Okay, moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. You can proceed, Madam Clerk.
I need a motion to approve the treasury report, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the minutes for August the 1st, 2023, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Whitfield. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
And Mayor, for the clerk update, there's just a couple of dates that I need from you all. If y'all can get it to me sometime this week, we need to have 3 additional meetings in November for the budget. If y'all can send me y'all availability, we can get that in the paper and post it for the budget. And also interview set up for a clerk position. We need dates for that as well.
Okay, for the budgets, how many hours do we need per
We
session?
did 2.
2 hours per
Right.
session? Okay, so you just need three additional. Okay. We'll get that to you
Yes.
this week.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
I just want to bring to your attention, I did receive a text message from an individual viewing the meeting. There appears that we're still having some audio issues because they can hear us, but we can't hear them. So there was someone trying to have a public comment. And it just seemed that we were talking over them, but I did explain that we couldn't hear them. So
Okay.
maybe you might want to just state something to the public that we did not hear anyone speaking in. This way they don't feel like we were ignoring them.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Right, so do we have someone that is very important that people have an opportunity for public comment? Yeah, so can they bring somebody on now? I can reopen public comment for agenda items only for whoever was trying to get on.
Jade Cole.
Yes, can you hear me? Still can't hear me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. They can't hear you, but I can.
Oh, okay. Should I still make my?
Bear with us, please. Please hold.
If someone's talking and we cannot hear you at this point. Is the host on?
Yeah, because we're not even getting.
Yeah, I'm not coming with him,
I'm
yeah.
thinking that there's still audio issues from receiving.
Okay, right. So, okay, since we're still experiencing technical difficulties, we invite anyone who has anything to say for public comment to come into the building. We apologize for the inconvenience. However, yeah, this is beyond our control. Some IT complications.
Mayor, if they want to forward their comments to me by way of email,
Okay,
I'll pass them along to the individual council members and answer any that I can answer accordingly.
okay, I appreciate that.
dharris@willingboro.nj.gov.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. All right, public comment is now closed again. We'll move on, Ms. Elijah. All right, so we have the 3 budget meeting, and then we need dates for what else?
Interviews.
The clerk interviews, okay. Can we send, Ms. Blajan any dates that we have open, to her this week? So that we can just start the schedule for November, and we could we'll start the clerks ones earlier than that. So any openings, for the end of this month and beginning of next month?
What time of the hour are we expecting, like evening or afternoon to do this? When you say
Can you
time?
just give her, if you have some mornings, like we did for the evaluation?
And just during the week? Okay.
Remember those be in person or?
What's the preference of council on that, Zoom or in person? I
For the
think
interviews.
interviews should be in person, I'm thinking.
I'm okay.
If you're gonna do evenings,
Mhm.
do a person, but if it's daytime.
You need, okay, that's fair.
Maybe do the first round on Zoom.
Okay, that's fine.
We can do
Is
round
everybody okay
one
with Zoom on the
For
first?
the first round.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that gives us a little bit more flexibility. Just send Ms. Blajan, any availabilities. Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Blajan?
No, that's.
All right, thank you. Mr. Harris, did you have a presentation that you needed to do today?
I was planning a presentation, but because of the other amount of volume, we pushed that off
Push
to
it back,
the
okay.
next
So I
meeting.
thought- Okay. And is Mr. Weiss on the line?
I don't know, we'll be able to hear.
Oh, we won't be able to hear. Okay. Okay. Can you contact Mr. Weiss and tell him, we'll have to postpone till the next session? Sorry, Mr. Harrison, I thought we were gonna have that. Do you have it together or no?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah, we had presentations and things that we just didn't.
Okay. Is there anything from council for unfinished business? Nothing? Okay. Anything from council for new business? No. Okay. Well, just for next week, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Unfinished business.
Yes, go ahead.
I know we were speaking about, the ordinance regarding dogs.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
one of the residents, Ms. Sharon Anderson, have reached out to me to find out, where the conversations are. When will we be revisiting them as it relates to that ordinance?
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna do it for this, and I did talk to her also,
Okay.
or Deputy Mayor did. We won't be talking about this session. Mr. Harris will just go over that. We'll go over that in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And,
And Ms. Blige also.
and Mayor, there was an item for new business resolution,
Yes.
190,
Mhm.
which, dealt with the the memorandum of understanding between the township and the American Red Cross.
Mhm.
I did, reach out to members of our OEM to be present or contact us through Zoom.
Mhm.
They're not present, but I don't know if they are on Zoom, but we're not going to be able to
Hear
finish
them.
that discussion today.
Okay. And I just ask that all council members review this resolution just for consideration for the next meeting. It is about the Red Cross coming into JFK, but I just want to make sure we cover ourselves and make sure it's the right fit for our township.
Madam Mayor, I had a
Yes.
question on that one. Can our OEM provide whatever they were gonna do over Zoom? Can they email it out to us, whatever presentation or highlights they wanted council to be aware of as we're considering the resolution?
Mr. Harris,
I will reach out to them and make that request.
Thank
Yes.
you.
thank you. Anything else for new business?
Mayor, I'm sorry, but you had, full pass discussion also that,
Okay, for
that came
Councilwoman
over.
Monroe. I think we can still discuss that. I just want to keep it on the,
Okay. Yeah, I thought we said, well, I only had recommended that perhaps we look into creating a system where residents that, they're residents, they pay taxes here, that they could have some sort of tag that where they would be allowed in the pool for free. And just an older resident had explained to me that it used to be that way, and I think Madam Mayor had remembered and recalled that as well. So if we could try to bring that back, I thought we were gonna bring that back for next summer, right? So in the budget.
look at it. We were going to explore it.
Okay.
I mean, it was more so for the school kids. I don't recall the senior citizen, but the school kids typically got passes to the school during the school year, like sixth grade and above, I believe.
Okay, and I was not here at that time, but I had just imagined probably looking at, our taxes and those residents that are actually family members, because I know sometimes people have visitors, long-term visitors, so we don't want it to get out of hand where it's, we're not making a profit at all. But try to something systematically where we could prove that this person is listed on your taxes, so that child, if you only want to do children, they could be free. Is that what it was? So the adult.
It was, they handed them out at school, so whoever was a school age
Student, oh, I
student in the district.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that's a.
And I also believe that program was grant funded,
Oh, right.
previously, so we would have to see where, if we're able to procure grant funds
Right.
to support that effort again.
Right, and then if we're not able to, I think that again, I spoke about amenities.
Mhm.
When you look to move to a place, you look at things that you have that's free to you, and a lot of things that we have are maybe affordable, but we don't have very many free things that we give back to the community. So even if it's something that we look at when we're doing the budget, seeing what we can, deep dive into the figures and see what that looks like. I'm not in the finance major, but if a grant is not available, perhaps looking at that. I know a lot of the residents are upset about the increased tax because of the school district. So I really just would like for us to look at something that, it's 2 months out of the year that we could just give back at no charge to them.
I think it's worthy of exploring.
Mhm.
But it would definitely, we would look at, when we're doing our budget, see how that fits in, because it was definitely grant funded and a nice portion of it was, but I
Okay.
think it's worthy of exploring.
Okay, Thank you, ladies.
Anything else for unfinished business? All right, moving on to public comment. Public comment is now open. You have 4 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment is now open.
Evening again, Pat Lindsay Harvey, Headley Lane. A couple of things. First of all, I want to thank Captain Bulk. My mother is 89 years old and had an issue with her house. You know, she was on the phone to me right away. So I called Captain Bulk. He had his officers sent out there. The issue has been handled. Thank you very much for your help. The Environmental Commission is very, very excited about the rain garden that's going in at Kennedy. This is the first of 2. So I think the second one won't go until next year when more funding comes, but there'll be 2 rain gardens at the Kennedy Center. So I'm really angry about this. I was at Mill Creek Park this weekend for an event. And we're there on Saturday, and just so happens we're looking at the pavilion where we were going to be using for the event. And there's a gentleman exercising on top of one of our brand new tables. Not only was he exercising on top of the table, but he was jumping onto the table. Now the table is a little lopsided. So it's a shame, we may have to put up signs, do not jump on the furniture. I wonder if he jumps on his furniture at home. I doubt it. And yes, it is correct. Many years ago, when I moved here 46 years ago, the pools and the recreation programs were all subsidized by grants. Unfortunately, those grants are not, they went away, but maybe there are some other grants out there that we can get to maybe subsidize something of the pools and some of the recreation programs. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay Harvey.
Good evening. My name is Tony Mathis. I reside at 26 Medford Lane. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who was responsible for the Jazz Festival. As you can see, I'm wearing the Jazz Festival t-shirt. A shout out to Miss Brenda, who showed me and directed me to the right place to find the t-shirt. A couple of comments. It was an awesome event. I just wanted to let you know, as always, 40 years is a long time and I've gone to most of them. So it tells you how old I am. I also like to recommend that a couple of suggestions. I'd like to see more vendors, a variety of vendors. We could use or suggest maybe using the Melanin event and finding vendors from them to come to the event for the Jazz Festival. Just need to mix it up a little bit more vendors, I would think would be great. I also think that they need to do something about the lighting. I myself stay to the very end. It's dark to find your car. I don't know if there's anything that can be done, but it's difficult for some people to find their car because it's so dark in the evening. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that has gone to the Jazz Festival. The fireworks are wonderful. Just to move along, because I know I usually run out of time. My other issue is about the abandoned homes. I'm concerned about the eyesores and the eyesore for the abandoned homes and also the safety issues. There is one abandoned home, 11 Medford Lane, which is on my street. It's been boarded up for years. Not quite sure what's going on, not quite sure how the township is dealing with abandoned homes or townhomes in Willingboro. And how would we go about making sure or giving that information to whoever needs to. I'm not sure if that's a code enforcement issue. But I would like for there to be some kind of notification as to what is going on, because it seems to keep going on and on and on, and there's no resolve. Bulk items, big issue for Willingboro. I think I've seen more bulk items being left out on the sidewalk. I'm not sure if people are up to the new code, but I think it's a little cumbersome to have people wait till the end of, but don't have to wait till the end of the month, but they do have bulk pickup once a month, which is different than what it used to be. You used to put your bulk out during recyclables. In other townships, I use West Deptford as an example, they have the automated system recycling, but they still have someone that picks up their bulk every day. I mean, every 2 weeks as we do, but it's during the recyclable. To have somebody call or put in for an app to request for a bulk pickup, and I think it's only 2 items or 1 item that is picked up. I think it could be streamlined a little better. So I just would like for some comment from the board as to, is there another option that we have? Because there seems to be a lot of bulk being left on the sidewalk. Maybe it's a reason why that's happening. Maybe it's because there's income that is secured when you are fined, when you don't pick up that bulk. I'm not quite sure what the reason is, but maybe we come up with a different option. And I also questioned about the continuity. And I brought this up a few months ago about the signs in Rittenhouse Park. My follow back or coming back around to this is one of the things that I think that should be in the code that's not in the code is actually specific about the signs. All the signs in the park should be consistent, I think, but there's nothing in the codes that I can see that says anything about park signs such as Rittenhouse Park, Millbrook Park. Could we do something about that? And my time is up, and I thank you for listening to me. And I think I was able to cover everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mathis.
Hello, Mr. Owens.
Clay Owens, Stafford Lane. Woo! Well, I've been here before and it's about the same topic. For the last 11 years of my life, I have dedicated myself to advocating for homeowners who unfortunately became victims of illegal practices by Wall Street, which is very well documented by our government. In fact, let me just introduce myself in terms of what I do. I am the founder of a nonprofit called Homeowners Lives Matter. You can go to our website, holmusa.org or homeownerslivesmatter.org. If the government, state and federal, did not document what I'm here to talk about today, then you can call me crazy, okay? In fact, New Jersey is one of several states that sued the big dogs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you can name them. And in these lawsuits, it documents that Wall Street resorted to theft, straight forgery, to steal homes. What I'm here for today is that in light of the recent criminal indictment of our 45th president, I am here today motivated not to see another man go down, but instead asking my government, is this really a democracy? Or is this an oligarchy where only a few get to play by their own rules and the rest of us have to answer to the law? What do I mean by that? It's been for years, myself, other homeowners out in the audience, we've attempted to file criminal charges for these very crimes that Donald J. Trump and Mayor Giuliani are now facing down in Georgia, racketeering. Some of the predicate acts consist of false statements and writings, forgery, and conspiracy. The very same thing that people are losing their homes to. Now, what I took the time to do today, there's currently 14 properties on the sheriff's sale list in our town. Out of the 14, 11 of them I've identified are being stolen. With the same forgeries that our state and federal authorities told these banks and these lawyers to stop doing, and they're still doing, okay? Last Thursday, one of the worst stories I ever seen, Miss Charmaine Wright of 3 Farragut Court, home was stolen from a forged refinance that got created 6 months into her being a first-time home buyer, and she didn't discover it till she met me 7 years later. Well, our home was just stolen. Now, hopefully the appellate court does the right thing and it's reversed. But meanwhile, this woman is living in terror for a mortgage that she did not ask for, that her identity was stolen and her name forged on. And all I'm here asking again, Is this a democracy or is this an oligarchy? Where if you are connected, if you are part of the bar, if you are associated with Wall Street, you don't have to answer to the crimes. Now, I see an officer standing to my left. I am here to document this very moment, and I hope you pull me to the side, of a homicide. Mr. Thomas U. Rogers, formerly of Stafford Lane, who died the very same day that an illegal foreclosure was filed. Okay, now I can get into all of the particulars later, but I'll just leave you with this. If I come up to any of you guys with a gun and I say, give me your wallet, and in the process, you drop dead of a heart attack, what is that? That is criminal homicide. Mr. Rodney Kelly, who is over here waiting to talk, has 3 stents put in his heart for the very illegal things that I am here to speak about. But again, I'm just giving you fair warning because our very Constitution, Article 1, Paragraph 22, gives us crime victims' rights. And that's all I'm asking for. I digress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Owens.
If I can, I'm not sure how to.
Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. Good evening.
Glory be to the highest. My name is Rodney Kelly. I live in 9 Spindletop Lane, Willingboro, New Jersey. I've been living there since 2006. In 2004, I heard a child crying in my consciousness. That child was in Baltimore. I went and got that child unknowing that that child was there and was crying, but it's my sister's child, and that child was abandoned in my arm. So I had that child at 2 months old, March 17, 2004. March 17, 2006, I went to get a house to take care of her and my 2 grandchildren and my other daughter that's not here. Now, I would like to speak about the bulk that lady was talking about. Y'all need to increase the bulk. I'm a skilled tradesman, we could talk. Now, the home was, the documents were changed on me. And I've been fighting ever since 2006, actually 2012 in the courts. I filed criminal charges in 2013 here, over there in the municipal court. They screwed around with my paperwork. I filed torts. I filed on the state. I filed torts on this township, Cherry Hill, and everywhere else. Nothing happened because everybody's covering everybody's ass, excuse me. Okay? But US versus Trump, United States. Wow, that damn man's tore up the fucking country, excuse me. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, please watch your language.
I will, but please forgive me. But y'all seen what happened. If you don't see it, you're hiding. But Glenn Kirshner, he started with Justice Matters. His family is starting Justice Matters to fix this. The workers, the employment, the government that's in corruption. Like I said, I filed criminal charges in 2013. I just filed something in 2023. They still violated my due process and due procedures, equal protection. Now, before I die, I'm going to make right with these children. So I joined Justice Matters. And I'm a victim of corruption and crime. As a victim of corruption and crime under the United States Constitution, I'm becoming the private attorney general. And I'm letting you know. Victim. Now you can see 528 US Rotella versus Woods. And between Glenn Kirshner, Justice Matters, I'm a Justice Matters warrior. And anybody in corruption that I've dealt with, I'm coming back again with more criminal charges. And anybody that's in my way, they're going to get criminal charges because the law says what I'm talking about is clear and cut. These people still at home. I'm standing back before. Behind Mr. Clay, he left. Okay, he left. See, I embarrassed him. I apologize. But we have a problem here in Willingboro. But the abandoned houses and all of that, it's because they still in homes up from the Burlington County Superior Court under the color of law. I'm a witness, and I've been through it for 11, 12, 13 years. And I'm going back after them with lawsuits because I was a defendant all these years. But now I filed for adjournments to the sheriff department. They wouldn't give me my adjournments. They said I used them. Yeah, because another sheriff's cell before, they had to reverse because I got 2 block lot numbers on the house. The description is up in Bergen County. So they had to reverse that sheriff's cell and fix things. But they didn't fix it because they opened up another case on me, violating the Constitution, the 4:30A. entire controversy doctrine. Now they double team me with 2 court cases, and I'm already poor on disability. I gotta fight 2 cases, all the way up to the appellate court. And from the Superior Court, trial court here, and the appellate court there, it's corruption. And to the top court. I'm coming back after them because they're still in my home, and I'm not gonna let it happen. I've been here, and this is a new staff. Because I filed some citizen complaints on persons before, and they did not process my paperwork.
Sir, your time is up.
Okay.
What's your last name again, sir?
I'm in bankruptcy now because of this rap, and 3-4 times before. But I'm a private attorney general and I'm a justice warrior, and I'm criminally charged.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
Good evening. I'm Mary Jane Breen from 41 Gamewell Lane. And I came to Willingboro in 1975. And my husband and I had just gotten married and we were going to stay here for 2 years instead of renting an apartment. And we're still here. Why? Because of my wonderful neighbors. I have the super neighbors. My husband's 84. And we struggle. I had open heart surgery and struggle getting our trash can out and trash can back. And my neighbors see me walking anywhere near my trash, they come running over. No, Miss Mary Jane, we'll get it for you. So Willingboro has a lot of wonderful neighbors, and I'm very proud to brag about that all the time, everywhere I go. I do have a problem with trash collection on Gamewell Lane. I've mentioned it to several people. I've called the township frequently. I've called Public Works. I've called our township manager and left messages. And every holiday, Garfield trash is collected on Fridays, supposedly. But once or twice a month since COVID, we have not had collection. Every holiday, my trash sits out front from Thursday night till Tuesday morning. Today, it wasn't even picked up. Can anything be done? If I don't get my trash out on time, shame on me. But this is going on just a little too far, too long. And they came down Gamewell Lane and collected the trash on the even side of the street, but they didn't come back to collect the odd numbers on the street. And up at the end towards Gainscott, there's some side streets, so the houses up at the very end of the street, but from number 1 through about 60, they were not picked up. So I'm tired of complaining. I'm tired of not having anyone return my calls. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? And I apologize to anyone online that we can't take your public comment today due to some technical difficulties. All right. Public comment is now closed. All right, Mr. Harris, started with Miss Lindsay Harvey, just saying she's in agreement with our gardens, our Kennedy Gardens. So I think that's a good move and we're quite proud that that's finally happening. And we appreciate the work that the Environmental Commission is doing. I just want to say that. Ms. Mathis made some suggestions for our Jazz Fest that maybe we can consider next year, trying to incorporate more vendors. Also the lighting. I know sometimes the lighting does get a little funny over there, but I think maybe we can explore some more lighting so that people can make sure they're safe getting to their cars. Also, can we have some explanation on abandoned homes or process? Do we inform people on abandoned homes? Any notifications issued?
So Mayor, we do notify persons regarding abandoned homes. Just because the house is unoccupied doesn't mean that it is abandoned. And an unoccupied home and an abandoned home are very different. I've been having this discussion more lately with Mr. Tunstall in the inspections department. And we are talking about avenues that we can go down to handle these long-term homes that have been sitting. Some have been damaged by fire and not have been repaired. Some are or may be abandoned. Some, they are just unoccupied, but either the homeowner or the banks are still paying the taxes on those properties. And depending on where they are in the process, kind of dictates what the township could do with them. It would be possible for us, if we had liens on the property, to maybe foreclose on those liens. And then, go ahead and probably, sell them to a developer or flip them ourselves and re-put them out on the market. The state has done some modifications in their laws a few years ago that kind of allows municipalities to kind of do that now. So we are in discussion, but that would have to incorporate a more detailed discussion with our legal counsel about what our parameters are, and then what necessary steps the council would have to put into place to allow us to do something in that regard.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yes, go ahead.
As it relates to that property, 11 Medford, I believe it was a fire there. So it's in the process.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. And also, Ms. Mathis, just consistent signage throughout Willingboro. I know there's some complications with the Rittenhouse in terms of what we have a say with and what we don't. Can you just provide further clarification or further?
So that those particular signs in Rittenhouse, they were not put up, or they didn't get the necessary permits, I believe was the situation for the signs in Rittenhouse. After the fact. But once again, that's a homeowners association, and we can regulate the permits and the size of the sign, but we can't really regulate the aesthetics that they put on their particular property. So, they may not be loved by the residents, but that's not really much that we can do about that. One thing that I have been working with our communications department and my team for 2024 is we're looking into changing all of the signage in Willingboro Township. Something that we're going to present to you in the coming months. Maybe a signage design contest or something where the residents can kind of look at some of the things that we have been planning. And vote what signs that they would like to see in the community. Something a little more retro and hip, something a little more traditional. I don't know. But we do agree that there is inconsistency with the branding of Willingboro, and we would like to get that more consistent. Some things are the willows, and we have our emblem, and we need to become more consistent in the way we present our community. So that is being worked on in the overall for the township. But, unfortunately, specifically to Rittenhouse Park, there's not really much that we can do other than make sure the signs that they do put up are in compliance with the size and height and all of those regulations.
Right, and then going forward, can we at least, I know it's hard at, dealing with some of the HOAs, but can we just keep open communications between, I would say that HOA and I think Fairmount Park, to make sure that, even though they're separate, they're still a part of the full Willingboro.
Yes.
And so there should be something that we can, maybe not enforce, but we can come into alignment with, making sure we're, remain consistent in our imaging.
Well, my door is open, but that's something that they would need to come and engage in, because I had no idea they were planning on replacing their signs. But absolutely, Mayor, yeah.
And now that we're doing the signage, and maybe since we maybe missed the boat with Rittenhouse, just reach out to Fairmount
Get them on
Park,
board.
just to let them know that's what we're working on. so that they can, if they have to update theirs also. I just want to tackle, Ms. Mathis and Miss Mary Jane. They both had concerns about our trash. And bulk item capacity and just trash, consistency. And incomplete trash collections. Also, just making sure that if someone does call up here, that they can, they speak to someone. We do have a couple other residents that, have said that they've called up and it's not clear which avenue to go to or who to speak to. Granted, other residents say they get through and is very kind, help, but there are some other residents that are not getting through. And it may be, our system that may not be letting them. So I just want to address those things concerning the trash.
So yes, trash-related calls should be directed to DPW. There are, I know, 2 persons in their office that do handle those inbound calls. I do receive calls in my office related to trash issues and things like that. My staff is pretty diligent about answering those phone calls and passing them along to me. I will agree with Miss Green that it does appear that we have more problems with collection issues during holidays than in other periods of the year. In relation to Gamewell Lane, specifically last week, that truck got packed out and was supposed to go back to the dump and empty and come back. Unfortunately, they did not do that. But again, often when I find out about things like that is very late into the evening, sometimes 7, 8 o'clock at night. And at those points, there's not really much that I can do until the following day. But I will have the conversation about Gaineswell Lane with Mr. Harris in the morning, and we will see what arrangements we can do to get the uncollected trash picked up. And we will have further conversations with Republic. Although they have been doing a pretty good job, we still have some minor issues that we need to get ironed out.
Right, and somehow giving you better feedback earlier, from their end or whoever, DPW, better feedback earlier so that it can be, adjusted, quicker. Because Ms. Green's saying it's happening frequently, incomplete trash collection. So they're coming down the street, taking one side, but not taking another. So we just got to make sure. And that's happening, in pockets of Willingboro, even though overall they are collecting the trash consistently. We do still have to take care of those pockets.
Yeah, I will have that conversation because they do report to us sometimes when they haven't completed a route completely. But they just gave us a route number and an 80% completer, but they don't really identify the streets. And maybe they need to start doing that so we can deal with it a little better. Thank you.
Especially, if somebody calls up, you can at least give them an update.
Yes.
Right then and there. Okay, and then last but not least, Mr. Owens and Mr. Kelly brought up the issue of illegal foreclosures. I'm not sure where the township can intervene in that. I have been getting a couple of residents ask, saying that they have been illegally foreclosed, and I have not investigated whether that's
I have
true.
something I can add to that.
Okay, true or not, but I don't know where the township can play a part in that. I think it is a concern if it's happening, but I'm not sure where the township and Councilwoman.
Yeah, so I attended a Burlington County meeting, and we had spoke about this very topic that is an issue going around. So they had developed a website. It's called Property Fraud Alert. It's found right on the Burlington County website underneath the clerk's area. I'll read briefly what it says here. Property Fraud Alert is an online subscription offered to the public that allows them to have their name monitored within the records office in order to track possible fraudulent records that affect their property. The threat of mortgage fraud and identity theft crimes continue to rise, and all too often victims of these types of fraudulent activities are unaware their homes or identities have been stolen. While Property Fraud Alert does not prevent fraud from happening, it provides an early warning system for property owners to take appropriate action should they determine possible fraudulent activity has taken place. It's simple, just enter your personal address or business, and you will be notified when a document is recorded with your name matching that property. And it's a free service. It's your own option to be placed on there. And it literally, they gave examples. If somebody filed something with your property, of a lien or something, you'll get an email or some sort of notification that this has occurred.
No, I appreciate that. So that's property fraud alert.
It's called, yep, it's called propertyfraudalert.com. And it is found also on the Burlington County, New Jersey website. And you can apply there.
Thank you very much for that.
Madam Mayor, I'm familiar with that. That is directed to, there has been regrettably an increase in individuals and groups that are going around and basically stealing people's homes out from under them by filing fraudulent deeds, fraudulent mortgages. I believe some of the stuff that Mr. Owens and the other gentleman, Mr. Kelly, were talking about go back to issues pertaining to their original mortgages, which quite frankly, those type of actions, this council has no jurisdiction or ability to do anything about that. They have to fight those battles in the courts. In terms of if it's what's been happening recently, where these groups or individuals are basically stealing people's properties. Clearly, once they get in touch with this hotline, if there's something to it, I know there's referrals to the county prosecutor's office as well as federal entities.
There is.
So that there are remedies where they can pursue if in fact that has happened. But the actual, some of the stuff that was talked about by Mr. Owens and Mr. Kelly, quite frankly, belong in the courts, are in the courts, at least from hearing from Mr. Kelly. And regrettably, although it's something, to the extent that there was something fraudulent done by a bank 20 years ago, there should be a remedy, but quite frankly, this council can't be the one that gives that.
No, and I understand that, but is there anything that our township can look out for in terms of if anything's coming across their desk, just to be aware, not that we have to do anything, legally that is for the resident to do, but
I think some of the problem is most of the front lines of this is the county clerk's office.
the county clerk, okay.
Because that's where the documents get filed. That's where these individuals do their dirty work.
Right.
And once they're filed, then there are notices that come through to the township, well, like in terms of the tax office and things like that. But the tax office won't be able to really tell the difference between real or fraudulent. I mean, they simply have a fiduciary function that once they get the information, they have to process the change, make sure that the bills go to the right place. But there's really no way the tax office could address it or even become aware of it unless they're approached by the county prosecutor, by the county clerk or something like that, where there's a heads up that there's some sort of fraud going on. And even then, we'd probably sit back and let the proper authorities take care of the action and simply follow and make sure that we're correcting our records to correct anything that was done illegally.
Okay.
And just for the record, there is a phone number, if I could just say the
Yes,
number in case,
absolutely.
because it does also say if you require assistance and having trouble with online, the number to call is 1-800-728-3858. The number is 1-800-728-3858, and that is to propertyfraudalert.com.
And Madam Mayor, I will ask our public information officer to investigate that, what that's on the county, and put the similar information on our website and direct it to them so they can do whatever due diligence they will do.
And I'll share the link with you on.
Thank
phone
you.
as we have.
No, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
And I have to go back to Miss Pat Lindsay Harvey. I didn't address the Mill Creek part, people jumping on the tables. I'm not sure if signage is needed for just proper park etiquette.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate that those types of events are happening, but that's something that you really have to be there to catch, to address. And we could put signs, but it's a sign and people will smash the sign.
Right, and then just
so-
making sure we have proper
Another thing that I am in discussion with Captain Bucks and Lieutenant Toner is maybe creating a park security division. That would maybe help remedy some of those particular situations. But that's, again, something that we're just preliminary discussing.
Anything else from public comment that
There was one piece about the bulk items, the bulk trash collection items.
okay.
So we can review the processes. I mean, the processes are what they are. They've been in place. When you say streamline, I think the process now, if you have a bulk item, you get in touch with the Department of Public Works or call recycling company, identify your address, and they come in and pick up. So, but when you say streamline, I don't know what
Maybe just-
streamlining that.
Maybe not streamlined, but we're just at the reevaluate bulk item, the capacity. If it's again, with adequate for the township. So we just got to revisit
Yeah.
that whole thing. It may not be streamlined, but just maybe opening it up.
I want to add a comment. I know that West Deptford was referenced in the comments, perhaps just a call to see what it is that West Deptford is doing. Sometimes it appears that people are doing things quite differently. And then when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's the same. So we'll find out from West Deptford and if there are others who are doing it and if there are any best practices for us to consider. I think that would be helpful too.
Yes, I'll have the deputy manager look into that.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. All right, anything else?
she has-
Anything else?
oh,
I can't take it from there. Miss Mathis, and we can talk after. I can't take it from the. Miss Mathis. Miss Mathis, wait, okay, we'll talk after the meeting, okay? All right, anything else?
I did just want to acknowledge Ms. Green and giving a shout out to your neighbors. I think it's important for all of us to be neighborly. And I commend them for for assisting you. And I hope that more Willingboro residents will be good neighbors.
Yeah, thank you. All right. We'll move on to council comment. Does any council have any comments for tonight?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know there are a lot of different awareness things for the month of September, and I did want to highlight suicide prevention awareness and pediatric cancer awareness. While those are highlighted this month, they are important all year round. And I think it's just something that we should continue to keep at the forefront. There are many people that are struggling in our community and across this nation with mental health crises. And there are so many different things that can exacerbate those situations. And I think just being mindful, especially with back to school, we have children that are suffering with suicide ideations, families that are going through so many different hardships. I just think we need to just keep that at the forefront and to be kind to one another. Also, I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Lowry and to all the community organizations, the school district, everyone that came out for the wellness event that we had, the first annual back to school wellness event. We learned a lot about what Willingboro wants and what they love. They love barbecue and free book bags. And it was nice to see the council, my council colleagues out there as well. But a huge shout out to Mr. Lowry for him pulling this together, working with the entire administration. So many departments represented. Thank you so much for pulling that one together. Also, today was the convocation for Willingboro School District. We are one Willingboro. It was wonderful that the school district invited the council to come out, community organizations, religious leaders to come and to welcome the educators, the administrators as we prepare for a transformational school year. When we work together, we raise the bar was the theme, talking about how we really need to cultivate our students, their interests, and come together as a community to be able to serve these students better. And last but not least, happy 16th birthday to my daughter, Chloe Simone. I'm very excited to be celebrating my baby girl. and her 16th birthday today with her mom's at a council meeting. So wonderful. But that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, just want to thank everyone for coming out. Great job by the Recreation Department, as well as all the other departments that lent a hand for the Jazz Fest. It was phenomenal without incident. Just looking forward to get bigger and better. I mean, everyone that has spoken about it gave high praises. So great job under the leadership of the Recreation Department and everybody who had their hands involved in that process. As Dr. Worthy said, the wellness event, Mr. Lowry, once again, great job. Had an opportunity to come down there, and when you saw the lines wrapped around the building, I mean, understanding everybody didn't register, but when they got there and saw something for free, they called everybody to tell them it was free. It was outstanding. We even had to call in another food vendor. And it was just, like I said, creating opportunities, doing something different, adding on to what we're already providing under the leadership of the manager and your deputy. I don't want to say his name too much, but great job there. Captain Bucks, Chief Burnett, thank you for the programs, the cadets, the fine programs that you're putting in place that's resulting in fine residents, you know, being deployed out into the different communities and the different aspects of what they do. Thank you for that level of commitment, continually do it and continuously growing it. Ms. Tarina Williams, the Willingboro SDA Church will be hosting their 5th annual community health fair on Sunday, June 10th from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, September. I got you. September 10th. Sorry, Tarina. Sunday, September 10th from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Also, Ms. Sharon Anderson just texted me. As far as it relates to the trash, she indicated that the DPW will be reducing their hours in the upcoming weeks. So she didn't know if that's something that we needed to take into consideration based on the conversations here, but I'm not sure, so I'm just bringing it to the table.
So the DPW isn't really reducing its hours. The yard is open from 7 in the morning until whenever it closes in the afternoon. However, that period of time between 7 and 9, 7 and 10, there is really no volume in and out of the DPW yard. So what I did ask was the acting DPW director to utilize those persons during that very downtime in the morning to go around the community and police trash. And then go back and open the yard 9 or 10 in the morning. So it's just a reutilization of people being more productive during really slow, unproductive times in the community. So that's the reduction in time.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Any other comments?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can't reopen. We
No,
done.
I'm sorry.
Next.
I'm sorry. Look,
Go ahead, go
I
ahead.
totally forgot this one. I overlooked it until I saw the pretty hair. I want to thank Kevin Gaines. For his leadership in the department. His leadership in the department and the hard work, dedication he puts in. At the wellness event, when I was leaving, he was the only one left putting away boxes. So when I asked him about it, he said, "The holiday weekend, my guys have been out here working. They got families. I told him to go home. He stayed there, completed everything until it was done." And I just want to say, thank you. Thank you.
And also, thank you, Councilman Anderson. And I just want to, we talk about this thing, volunteerism and employee work in that fine line. And I just want all of the employees that were there on Saturday who were volunteering their time. I have instructed the directors to make sure that you get paid overtime for the time that you did give to the township on Saturday for that event.
Any other council comment?
I just wanted to say thank you for all of the hard work over the summer, the administration. You made it a tremendous summer here in Willingboro. There was no shortage of events or activities, many of them free for the community to take part in. Thank you for your forethought and for your planning to execute a very lively summer for Willingboro Township. Also, thank you to the fire department for organizing the Touch a Truck event. That was a really awesome event. I know a lot of small children love playing with their toy trucks and cars at home. And for them to see the actual versions of those cars and trucks in real life, it was really awesome to see and have them have the opportunity to do that. So thank you for your work there. And last but not least, I want to say a happy back to school to all of our educators, staff, administration, and most of all, our students that will be starting school on September the 8th. I hope that it will be a very exciting school year, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Oh, real quick.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I echo my colleagues here. And I just also wanted to thank the Willingboro Police Department and the fire department, 2 incidents. So the police department worked very hard in helping me find my dog. I have 2 dogs, Pepsi and Cola. So Cola took a walk. Yes, she's the female, Pepsi's the male, and she got lost. And it was the day of the Jazz Festival, believe it or not. So we were out, my daughters and I, looking for this dog. And I was just like, by the time it hit like 2 o'clock, it was hot out. I was like, we just don't have Cola anymore. That's it, girls. I'm like, it's just, I don't know what else to do, right? I was like, I have to go shopping. I can't deal with this anymore. And my other daughter was like, you're right, Mom, I'll take Pepsi to go find her. So she went on another walk and I tried to leave, but I couldn't. So we got in the car and I decided, let me call the Willingboro Police Department, which I probably should have did from the very beginning because they were looking for this dog as if it was a person. And they helped us find Cola. She was a neighbor who took her in because she was dying of thirst. But at like 5:30 p.m., they found Cola. So I want to say thank you for looking for Cola, and she thanks you as well. And then recently I also had a smoke scare. It was smoke fire in my house. I didn't see where it was coming from. So we left the house to call the fire department. They came out in numbers and they spent like 45 minutes looking to see where the fire was coming from. So either way, we were safe, and I think it was like electrical fire. So that's where the smoke was coming from. So I just want to say thank you to both the police department and the fire department for looking out for us. And then I just do have one announcement from a resident who could not speak. She wanted me to announce that there is a school board candidate forum happening on Saturday, October 7th at 9 a.m. It starts at 9 a.m. to 12 noon. It's going to be held at the Borough Epic Center, and also known as Tiffany's Place. And it's hosted by several different community organizations. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Perone.
Okay.
Well, everyone took what I was gonna say in terms of thanking our entire staff team. Over the summer, there was a lot going on. We thank Tanya Around Town. Thank you for, really getting the communications out, our communications team. I also wanted to thank our volunteers, the residents that volunteered their time over the summer for various events, especially on Saturday. It probably couldn't have been done or completed without those residents actually stepping up and taking, the bull by the horns and really donating their time. So I just want to give a shout out to our residents also. But from the heart, I do want to say, our whole staff, we do appreciate you all. Even when there's some tension, we do acknowledge and know that without y'all, that this township does not run efficiently. So, and our code enforcement, they left you out today. But thank you for all your department does. But that's the sentiment for this meeting. Over the summer, we didn't get to talk about it a lot, but there was a lot of things that happened over the summer that was done very seamlessly. So we appreciate you. And there's nothing else? Madam Clerk?
Resolution 2023-208, a resolution going into executive session. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Moved
And
by,
this motion is to go into executive session to discuss potential contracts, the issuance of licenses, as well as any employee matter.
all right. Moved by, who's it moved by? Councilman
Anderson.
Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peron?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntyre?
Yes.
In the back or here?
We will be making a, we may be making
Oh.
a resolution when she go in the back. You just need a giggle. Huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, can you just make sure we acknowledge this, that this map is all her full concern about the traffic? I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. That's the solution. I just want to make sure everything we acknowledge, it. You don't have to have a solution. You just have to come up with a solution.
Are you all right?
That's everybody, right? I need a motion to come out of executive session, please.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Deputy Mayor Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peron?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Good resolution.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I wanted to confirm, I think we're up to 2023-210.
Correct.
Okay, so this is a resolution, the Township Council of Willingboro to permit issuance of one new plenary retail consumption license within the Township of Willingboro and setting forth the criteria for applications for such licensure. The form that I had given to council had several things that need to be filled in. One, which was the minimum dollar amount to be established, which council is going to establish at $15,000. The other thing we needed to establish was the date for submission of sealed applications and proposals, which will be November 9th, 2023, at the 3 p.m. in the council chamber of this building. So with those modifications to the resolution, that would be the resolution. We need a motion, et cetera.
All right, can I get a motion for resolution 2023-210?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peron?
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay. I make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
So moved, or whatever. Third.
Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call, please. Oh, well, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you.
It is 9:28. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.